To get eslint installed in this project, I'm going to run npm install and save it as a dev dependency eslint. And with that running, I can open up the package.json here, and it's going to pop into my dev dependencies in my package.json. And with that installed, I can look in the bin directory under node modules, and I'll find eslint right there, which is exactly what I want. So with that, I can now run npx eslint and run that across my project files. And that's going to say no eslint configuration found. So let's go ahead and make that configuration. We'll go right here to the root of the project and create a .eslint.rc file. And with that, I can run npx eslint across my project again, and I'm going to get this error, parsing error. The keyword const is reserved. So the default configuration for eslint is that it's going to parse your files like they're ECMAScript version 5 files, but my files are going to be written in the latest version of JavaScript, so I need to configure eslint to parse my files properly. So that's where I'm going to bring in the parser options, and in the parser options I'm going to specify my ECMA version, and that's going to be 2019. I'm also going to specify the source type to be module rather than script, because my JavaScript files are going to be modules. And I'm also going to say ECMA features JSX true, so that eslint can parse the JSX that I'm going to be adding to my project in the future. So with this, now I'm going to go ahead and run npx eslint across my project, and I'm no longer getting the parser error, but I'm not getting any rule violations. And that's because even though I have problems in this code, I haven't configured eslint to check for those particular problems. So I'm going to go back to my eslint.rc, and I'm going to add a rules configuration. And one of the rules I want applied to my project is valid type of. And if I set that to error now, and I run npx eslint, I'm going to get that rule being broken, so I get an error in my output here, invalid type of comparison value. The reason that's happening is because this has got a typo in it. So that is exactly what I want, and this actually fails the script. So if I were to put this in my continuous integration, it would actually fail my build, which is what I want. I don't want to have any type of typos in my production code. However, if you're in a situation where you're migrating to eslint and it's hard for you to go update all of the things, then it might be useful to change from error to warn. And in this case, it's going to give you the same output just as a warning, but the script will not actually fail, so your build can continue to deploy or whatever it is that you're doing there. So I'm going to go ahead and change this back to an error, and now I'm going to just paste a couple extra rules in here. And if I run eslint now, I'm going to get a whole bunch of errors for all of those rules that I've broken. One other rule that I want to configure in here is the strict rule. And the strict rule is special because it is a configurable rule. So instead of just saying error right here, I actually provide an array where the first element is the error or warn or off, and we're going to leave that as an error. And then the second element in the array is the options that I want for this particular rule. And each rule is going to have different options, and so you'll need to look at the documentation for it. For the strict rule, I'm going to say never, because I actually never need the use strict pragma in any of my files, because these are all going to be compiled with Babel, which will add the use strict for me anyway. So with that, now I can run npx eslint across my project, and I'll get the use strict is unnecessary inside of modules rule being broken, and so I'll get that output there. One other thing that I'm noticing in here is it's saying console is not defined, so it's breaking the no undef rule here, but I'm going to be running this code in the browser, and so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to specify my environment, and I'll say browser is true. And with that specified, I can now run npx eslint, and I no longer get that particular error because it knows that the console is actually available in the environment where I'm running this code. So in review, to make all of this stuff work, I have my package.json here. I specify eslint in my dev dependencies, and then I create an eslint.rc file where I configure eslint on the type of JavaScript that it's going to be trying to parse in this project, the rules that I want my code to be following, as well as the environment where this JavaScript is expected to run. And that is going to impact some of these rules.